Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of You Can Sit With Us. I'm one of your hosts, Matt, sitting here with Becky.
Hello.
And we have Rainie on the ones and twos.
Hello.
And it has been already a crazy year in Los Angeles. I mean, crazy year overall, but a crazy year in Los Angeles the past week or so. We've had a lot of things happen.
Yeah, this is actually the first time we've all been together since pre-holidays.
Yes, this
basically.
is true. Yes.
We were supposed to get back in the studio 2 weeks ago-ish.
Yes.
And then, obviously, horrific fires happened.
Yeah. Forest fires.
Quickly.
Turn into house fires.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so scary.
So scary, so sad. Today is also Trump's inauguration. Really just like not the vibe. I really don't love it.
I'm not vibing with the vibe.
Not vibing with 2025. It was a crazy way to start. Since we're just getting back into the swing of things, I want to know about your fire experience. I feel like we all had different like emergency takes of like, are we going to evacuate? Are we going to stay? Some, you were closer to one of the fires. I was closer to one of the other fires. Yeah. There was so much happening.
I feel like I just said being in the middle of the city, you have such a false sense of security. It's like, it's not going to make it here. Like, that's so far away, So you feel like, oh, it's fine. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Unless, like, they turn off the water or they turn off everything, Yeah. You're like, you're totally fine. I'm totally safe. Like, nothing's going to happen here. And then all of a sudden, there's a big fire right next to Runyon, which is much closer to my house. And you could, like, see it from my roof.
I was watching it on TikTok.
And I was like, oh, my God, it's not that far away. I was like, it's not that safe.
No.
Like, no one is safe.
No.
That was the scary part because it changed, like, so fast.
Well, with the wind, too.
Like, definitely a lesson learned is, like, even though it seems far away, you kind of need to be ready at any point because the embers could fly somewhere. People start fires. They're still like investigating which fires were started by people.
Yeah.
And which were embers or which started with down power lines. Like there's so many theories out there, and nothing's been fully like investigated or fully claimed. So you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There were like so many videos of people like starting fires on the streets and stuff too, like that passerbyers were putting out. So it was like weird. A lot of weird stuff was happening that week in LA.
Yeah, it started with the winds. I mean, we knew there were going to be crazy winds. The Santa Ana winds were coming back. They always do. And it's always just like, wow, it's so windy. I can't believe it. Like the first night, I think it was Monday or Tuesday night, we lost power at like 7 p.m. And we got it back at like 6 or 7 the next morning. But when we woke up, there was like a giant tree branch was down on our neighbor's yard, which thankfully somehow landed between her 2 cars. But Keith and one of our other neighbors were going out there to help her take it off. And it was just like so dense with all the leaves and all the branches and stuff. And then it was as that day kept going is when you heard like a little, someone posted on TikTok, there's a fire somewhere. And then I feel like it just snowballed into like, okay, so we should like not leave our house right now. We should stay inside. And also we need to start thinking about what it would look like to leave.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to fires. I'm not used to hurricanes. I'm a tornado person. Go in the basement.
Duck and cover.
Get in that basement. That's what I'm used to. I'm not used to like you have to leave.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Twisters.
Fully.
Yeah.
Twisters. So I was not prepared in any way to leave our house.
Well, we had friends that were over on the east, like further east side towards Pasadena, which there's a huge fire in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any electricity and the smoke was so bad. They're like, can we come stay at your house? So they came and they were at our house the night that the Runyon fire started. So it was like they had taken refuge at our house thinking it was safe. And then all of a sudden that fire happened. And then we're all like scrambling, getting ready to leave, like watching the news. Because they had a lot of coverage on that fire, actually. They had like tons of reported because that was closest to like the most densely populated area of all the fires. So they had a lot of coverage. But when we went on our roof, it was crazy because you could see like the flames just going up the mountain, like climbing up the mountain. But there were like 10 helicopters in the air. Like there were so many just going back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. Did you pack stuff? Did you have anything packed?
So I hadn't even thought about packing until the fire at Runyon like started. And then our friends who evacuated, they're like, you should probably just have a bag just in case.
You're like, you should probably.
And I was like, yeah, I guess I should. Actually, that would be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So now I was like charging the car.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to have like, low battery in the car in case you get like stuck in traffic. And our neighbors across the street were like, it's impossible to leave our neighborhood right now anyway. Like all the streets are gridlocked.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So he's like, even if you did try to leave now, you wouldn't make it anywhere.
Yeah, I feel like that was a lot of the conversation right at the beginning was like, do you leave preemptively
Right.
before anything came near your area?
Yeah.
Or do you wait and wait it out
Right.
and see if you should leave later? But then when is too late? You're going to be stuck in traffic. I mean, in the
When it's too
Palisades,
late.
people were leaving their cars.
Yeah.
They
They're
were
leaving
just
so
like
behind 'cause
getting
there's so much
out and
traffic.
they had to go. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much traffic. I mean, so we were like starting to pack, and I looked at Eugene and I was like, what do we even pack? Like, do we pack for like just essentials for like a couple of days?
Mhm.
Do we like grab our most like expensive things from the house?
Mhm.
Like, what do you bring? Like, I don't know. Like, if you expect your whole house to burn down. I have no idea. It's impossible. It's an impossible thing to think about.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you bring your dogs
Yeah.
and your dog food.
And you need your,
Like, you can
there
buy
were
more
the
human food
P's.
easier.
They like listed it. It was like
Yeah.
pets, prescriptions.
Oh.
That's kind of
Pictures.
what went through my mind was
Yeah.
like, I have prescriptions that of course I waited till the last minute to fill. I was like, could you imagine leaving your house and then like you're going through like SSRI withdrawal or you're
Oh
a
my
diabetic
gosh.
and you don't have your insulin? Like,
yeah, that's true.
how do you even get those things? Like Alfred's, this is kind of a sad update that we haven't gotten to yet, but Alfred doesn't have much longer with us. And he's
Aw,
got
poor
medicine
Alfie.
that runs out and we have to refill it every week. He has a little like IV solution that we give him. So I was like, where are we going to get that if we leave?
Mm-hmm.
And then, the baby of it all.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
Baby, you need a lot of stuff.
a lot of stuff to take a baby somewhere. That's why I
Right.
felt like horrible seeing the like videos and pictures of people leaving with like kids. Cause you're
Right,
like,
right,
how
right.
do you, one, if you have kids old enough to understand how to explain it to them,
They'd be so afraid.
horrifying.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And then if they're not old enough to understand, horrifying in
Yeah.
the same way. They're so confused. And then, how do you pick what to bring? Especially if you have multiple kids.
Yeah.
What do you pack?
It's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
A lot to manage is getting yourself out. So anything after
On top of that,
is just a lot of mental work.
Yeah.
And you're at high stress. So it's like harder to think,
Oh yeah.
So if you're like actually prepared and you've already planned these things out,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a lot easier. So that's a lesson learned is like,
Oh, 100%.
once you get a whiff of that, that the fire's coming.
Oh,
Or if there's
yeah.
fires, just have a bag ready. Like it's so
Yeah.
easy just to put a bag and really decide what you're going to bring.
Yeah.
Because I end up just throwing random things in. I was like, okay, here's clothes for like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Here's like the bare necessities I need. Here's my favorite coat, my favorite jacket. And I was like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, you're
Like that was
done.
it.
You're
Like I didn't do
done.
anything else.
We never actually packed. Keith had the
Yeah.
suitcases ready.
Yeah.
And we have, I have like a Filofax that has all of
Mhm.
our birth certificates and
Yeah.
whatchamacallits, passports and things like that
Right.
in it. That's ready to go. But
Yeah. Threw
we
the
didn't have
passports
anything
in.
else.
That
There was
it.
just no way. It wasn't until the one in Runyon broke out. That's when we were like, I don't know. Maybe we should think about driving somewhere else
Yeah.
and not being here since we can see a plume of smoke.
Well, it did
near
feel
us.
very like apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic.
Yeah. I couldn't say
You
it.
threw in a P somewhere in there.
Apocalyptic. It did feel very
Apocalyptic.
apocalyptic
Yeah.
when there were like 5 or 6 going at once.
Yeah.
All over. Honestly, you were kind of in the ring
We were in,
of fire,
yeah. And it does bring us to like, we're sort of in this new phase of like, okay, we're out of the danger zone of fire,
Yeah.
for the moment. The Santa Ana winds are supposed to pick back up, which hopefully everything stays,
Right.
as is and the fires get more contained. But we were in between 3 different fires
Mhm.
and now the air is horrific.
Yeah.
It's just they're like, don't breathe this. Don't
Yeah.
breathe at all. If you have young
Don't
children, you
breathe
should
at
leave.
all.
And you're like, well, I have a home and a business and
Yeah.
I can't just leave.
Mhm.
So what do? We've been inside. We taped our windows shut. We have
Mm.
some of our windows in the back were newer because we had to get them replaced. But the ones in the living room are just the original windows that were in
Like
it.
gaps.
Oh
and
my
stuff.
God, so many gaps. There was one morning
Yeah.
I woke up and Keith was playing with Henny And I went into the living room and I was like, it's hazy in here. And Keith's like, what do you mean? I was like, it's hazy. Like I can see a haze. And we realized we have a mail slot on our door.
Oh, the mail slot. It's coming through.
Tons. I saw it on TikTok. I put a garbage bag over it with some painter's tape. It filled up like a balloon because of all the wind and the air.
Oh my God, it was blowing in that hard?
It was blowing in hard.
Wow.
So we contained that.
Yeah.
We have like we already had 2 air purifiers from, the cats and allergies and stuff. But we got 2 more. But it's like we haven't been able to take Henny to the park in weeks.
No, it's stuck
inside.
inside.
He's been inside.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're saying. All the like air quality specialists is that even if you can't see the smoke, because so many houses burned down, there's all those chemicals and things. I mean, just think about all the things that are in your house.
Oh yeah, TVs,
the plastics and everything that burns, and then also a lot of houses in LA were built like in the 70s.
Yeah.
Where they had a lot of asbestos. So all of that just burns and is little teeny particles in the air that you can't even see. So it's even scarier thinking about, okay, those are just everywhere now.
Yeah.
They landed everywhere. I have ash still in my like yard. I'm like, it's probably just full of like, what are you supposed to do?
They said it'll be slightly better when it rains, is what they keep saying. And we're like, this is our rainy season.
Yeah.
January's almost gone. It should have already been raining.
Yeah.
So we're like, I keep calling it like reverse lockdown. Yeah. Like we're in our houses, but we're not wearing a mask in our house, but we are wearing a mask when we go outside. Yeah. But then when we go inside somewhere,
that's true.
We take it off.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
The pollution.
And then it makes me feel so bad for all those parents. I mean, in general, it makes me feel bad for everyone, but for the parents that had kids in COVID, because now I'm like thinking about the masking of it all, and I'm like, there is I tried to put a bandana on Henny and he
oh my God.
hated it. Had no idea what was going on. He'll wear a hat, but like a little bandana around his head? No.
I mean, people try to put things on their pets. Like when you take the dogs for a walk. I was like, they're not going to do it. My dogs would not do it.
No.
But I saw videos of people like trying to put masks on their dog.
Like an N95 on a dog.
Just like take on a walk and
no
stuff.
No way a dog would allow you to do that to them.
The crazy thing is the wind like blew everything like away from us. So like the day after the fire at Runyon, it was like totally blue skies. The AQI was like normal.
Yeah,
it was
I never
really
knew
weird.
what an
so it
AQI
felt like
was.
very dystopian to be like looking on the news and seeing the fires keep going and people having to keep evacuating. But in our neighborhood, it was like life was normal. Everything looked normal. The neighborhood was bustling. Literally none of my neighbors were wearing masks. Even the day after, it was crazy. It just felt totally normal. Completely normal.
Ours was like blue sky in the front. And then when you went to the back, looked apocalyptic, as you said.
Yeah.
It looked very apocalyptic. It was like pink at one point. We saw
the colors are crazy.
The colors in the sky were nuts. And then we saw, eventually we got the plume from the Eaton fire that we could see like bustling sort of, further away.
Yeah.
But it was so weird that it was split between the house like that.
Going out to eat is great. It's an exciting experience. You get to try new cuisine and catch up with friends, but dining out can also break the bank. And while grocery shopping saves money, it eats up your time with meal planning. That's why I love Home Chef, which can save both time and money without sacrificing the experience of a delicious restaurant-quality meal at home. Home Chef delivers fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes, like my current favorite almond brown butter yellowtail, conveniently to your doorstep to simplify your cooking experience. Users of leading meal kits have rated Home Chef #1 in quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. Home Chef has everything you and your family need for hassle-free, delicious dinners. Home Chef has over 30 options a week and serves a variety of dietary needs. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 per month on groceries. Check out Home Chef's new 5-ingredient meals that simplify prep with super easy recipe steps using just 5 fresh, pre-portioned ingredients. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life. And of course, free shipping on your first box. Go to homechef.com/sitwithus. That's homechef.com/sitwithus for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. homechef.com/sitwithus. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Everyone always says new year, new you. But what does that really mean? I have the hardest time determining how this next year is going to go. Life isn't about resolutions that fade by February. It's about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your own life. Think of therapy as your editorial partner, helping you write new chapters and create the meaningful story you deserve to live. At You Can Sit With Us, we love therapy. It's great at helping us think through what you want your life to be like. It's also helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. BetterHelp is fully online, which makes therapy affordable and convenient, currently servicing over 5 million people worldwide. You have access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Write your story with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/sitwithus to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/sitwithus.
It's just crazy. We started 2025 with like an unprecedented natural disaster, and also showed how the city was like really not prepared for it either. Like there wasn't the emergency evacuation thing went off as an accident.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, what were you doing? Were you like ready to go?
No, you know what it was? Shout out to Kim and Don had KTLA News on in Chicago.
Stop
and
watching.
my dad texts me and goes, "I just saw they got an alert on the news. Don't worry, it's not. It was a false alarm, or it was like a false." Yeah. I was like, "What is someone pushing a button?" Yeah, she imagine the panic like, that probably did with some people that were
human
like
error for sure.
Yeah, like if you're in. So the Eaton fire was up by Altadena, and if you're like going down the map on Altadena, you're going towards like Highland Park, Pasadena. That sort of area. Could you imagine being in that zone and then getting a false alarm, leave your house right now?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know that I'd be back on my phone. I'd jump in the car.
Probably. That'd be like, oh my God, it's coming back. We gotta
go. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're already so close.
Yeah.
And I knew that it wasn't right because I was on the Watch Duty app, which is the Watch Duty app, for anyone who doesn't know, is like, it shows all the wildfires or any fire activity and even the prescribed burns that are happening. It's mostly on the West Coast. But it has constant updates. So that's where like the most up-to-date information you can find is all brought together, and they like publish it there in real time. And they also stream any like public, things that are happening, like if the mayor's speaking or the fire people are speaking or anything like that. So you can watch it there in real time. But I was on that and everything was looking better, like more contained. And then that came out and I was like, this can't be true.
Yeah.
And I know the day before, one of my friends up in the valley, she was not getting messages. I can't speak today. Messages. She was not getting messages to leave, but her husband was. And they were sitting next to each other. And like one was getting evacuation orders and the other was not. So she was like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
So it was like, I knew something with the system already had to be like not right.
Yeah.
So when I got that, I was sitting at my dining room table on my computer and I was like, this can't be right.
I think what's really scary, when our power went out on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it was, our cell service was also not working. So we were like, well, our phones are charged. Like, let's go on TikTok or whatever. Because we're sitting in the dark or like, watch Netflix or something. Nothing was loading. Our internet was not, like the cell service was really bad. And Keith was like, well, I don't like this. So then we ordered, after that, a part of our new preparedness stuff that we ordered was a hand crank radio.
Oh yeah, I have one of those.
I was like, how would you know what's going on?
Yeah. It just
if your cell service just goes off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then this one has a little USB charger that you can put on it. So you can crank it and charge your phone. You'd have to be like really, really cranking it.
Workout time.
But that one, we put one of those on there. I'm trying to think what else we got after this that we were like, oh, we're bad parents because we didn't have a plan, a first aid kit.
Yeah.
We ordered a first aid kit.
Yeah.
Water. Did you guys have water? Because I got an alert that was like boil water warning and like don't drink the water. And so I went to the grocery store across the street from my house and it was packed and everybody was getting water. There's a guy with like a cart and like and everybody like swarmed towards him and like he was like, you can just take it, and it just like cleared it. Wow. And then we were all waiting in line for like forever, except this one couple didn't know what was going on. They're like, why is everybody getting water? And I was like,
you're like, they have not been notified.
They've not been notified. But
oh my God,
it was so intense. And I also was like, well, I'm so unprepared. I don't have water. I don't have first aid. I don't have a pack bag. I don't know where I'm going.
Nope.
It was all crazy.
I don't have any camping gear.
Yeah.
I think we got thermal blankets was the other thing.
Oh.
And P100 masks.
Yeah.
Well, Keith kept talking about a P100. He was like, I'm going to buy us these P100 masks. They say they're better for, when you go out in the air. And I'm thinking they're like an N95 looking mask.
Yeah.
No, they're like the respirator mask with the two giant
like
pink things.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I was like, I'm going to scare the shit out of Henny if I put this on.
You got to start
think
now.
I'm exterminating the house.
You got to get him used to now. Just show it to him and stuff.
Yeah, be like, here, play with this.
P100.
Try, you could put this on.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. I didn't even go to the store. Keith went.
Oh yeah,
one day.
Yeah, to get like just canned goods.
Remember what he got? I actually think he just got Henny some like snack pouch things.
Yeah,
like in case we had to leave quickly.
Where was your news coming from? Like, were you watching that live stream or were you on TikTok, New York Times?
Mine was honestly mostly TikTok.
Yeah,
because people were live streaming.
Yeah,
you could go on the Runyon fire. I sent Matt a link. I was like, look at this. You could see it.
Yeah,
you could literally see it in real time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was watching the news. Like, I think it might have been KTLA.
Yeah.
And I had like the helicopters circling, like looking around at the fire and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see all the firemen like at the gates to Runyon, like going up.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
Yeah.
The Runyon one really threw me because it's like, that is Hollywood. This is a famous street. Like, this is a legacy street.
Yeah.
And it's so close. And it's like fully city. Like, it's not like the Palisades it's like more spread out.
Yeah.
But Sunset, it's like, this is gridlock. This is just like very city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keith was saying before the Sunset fire broke out, he was telling my parents, or I think we were talking to my grandma, and Keith was like, we just live somewhere very like urban. Like, there's a lot of buildings. The Palisades and Altadena there are hikes. There's hills. There's forests.
More vegetation.
And,
so
there's
more
stuff.
lush. Yeah.
He's like, we don't really have those. And then when Runyon was on fire, I was like, okay, that's very close to very densely populated buildings.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what you would do if you were in Hollywood and you got an evacuation order. There's like 2 streets to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
That's, I mean, it's already
and then
like,
where are you going to go?
it was already kind of gridlocked. Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you going to drive?
Yeah.
You going to go north? You going to go south?
Kind of only can go south. It's all in the north.
Yeah, that's true. You can't go north.
Our plan was to go to David Ang's house because he lives down in Orange County.
Yeah.
But if we actually had to leave, that's where we're going to go.
Yeah, we were also actually going to go near OC. We're going to go to Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Long Beach near the OC?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we're going to go to Long Beach. We have a friend that lives there.
Yeah.
And she was like, I've got a room ready.
I know. I had some friends who were looking at the boat, the Queen Mary.
Mm-hmm.
So they, during everything that was happening with evacuations, they're having discounted rates where you could bring your pet for a room at the Queen Mary.
Wait, what is the Queen Mary?
Queen Mary is a ship that's on like the harbor in Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And they do like, I want to say like dinner and a show type things you can go and experience there, but it's also a hotel.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's
and
like
I think
cruise,
it's also
but
haunted. I want to say it's also haunted.
They do a haunted house on the Queen Mary for Halloween. It's supposed to be spooky.
Yeah.
Very spooky.
Yeah. So that's where some of my friends were going to go if they had to evacuate. Because they have pets. It's harder when you have pets too.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of places don't want you to bring their pets.
Oh, yeah. That's very true. And
like
then places where like
stuff.
hiking shit up.
Oh, yeah. The
That's
price gouging.
the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, to take advantage in that way is like, you're sick.
I've seen like disclaimers on like Zillow and Airbnb and stuff. And they're like, you cannot raise prices in LA County more than 10% or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say Gavin Newsom did something that he was like, you can't.
Yeah.
No.
Try to limit.
Enough.
Yeah.
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 When
all
there's
the price gouging, when there's a natural disaster. And it's so many, like, I don't think people truly get how many people it affected.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yes, there is rhetoric online about like, LA fucking sucks. It's full of rich celebrities and influencers. And it's like, do you know how fucking big LA is? It's huge.
Yeah.
You think everyone who lives in the Palisades is a Kardashian? Is that who you think lives there? You think everyone who lives in Altadena is
Gwyneth
Paltrow and Mandy Moore?
Mm-hmm.
No. Certainly some of them live there.
Yeah.
But that's not everybody that lives there.
No, it's not. Most people are just normal people.
Yeah.
Normal people, normal jobs.
Yeah.
You know, they lost everything too.
Yeah. I think it's a shitty time to pile on. But my feed wasn't really, I had other friends who said they saw a lot of that online. I saw some of it, but I mostly saw people being pretty empathetic to
I mostly saw things of people helping.
Yeah. That
like
has
all the
been.
donations and all the like fostering of pets and stuff has just been like really, really shown how everyone in LA showed up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to call out which Target we went to because I don't want to get this lady fired. But we were grabbing, Smosh did like a donation drive.
Okay, yeah.
So we went to Target and we did like specifically kids stuff because we were like we feel like we know what we would need if,
Right.
we didn't have anything for Henny. And we were loading up to pay. And you know how they do those deals where it's like you buy a certain amount, you get a gift card, whatever. So Keith had done all the math. That we had like 3 different carts going. And there were other, like, we were in line. And then I want to say 4 other families were in line with like 2 to 3 carts each of like stuff. And the woman who was checking us out, something happened where like one of the discounts didn't go through or whatever. And we were like, it's okay, we'll just switch out this thing, whatever. The manager came over and she's like, are you donating these? And we were like, yeah. She's like, here's the gift cards for XYZ. We have like this override for it. And she just did. She was like, what are we going to do? Return all this? And then you're going to go switch out 1 pack of diapers?
Yeah.
She's like, no, just here.
Wow. Thanks, Target lady.
Thanks, Target lady. I'm not going to tell you where she works at Target, which Target. But it was a Target. But it was nice to see so many people that you could clearly see were not shopping for themselves or anything like that.
For donations and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you, because it was pretty stressful for like a couple nights, did you do anything to try to not be stressed out? Or to make it seem more normal for Henny? Because even though he doesn't know what's going on, I'm sure he could like sense the energy, right?
Yeah. We sort of went from New Year's and Christmas, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law were over with their daughter. And she's like 6 months older than Henny. And he had like just started walking and he was very excited.
Right.
And he was excited because he had his cousin there. And then she left and like 5 days later, the fires broke out. So we had a newly mobile toddler.
Oh my.
So no, Matt, there was not a lot we did. There was no de-stressing. There was Henny running circles in the house. And
he was giving you more stress.
Okay. Okay, buddy. We can't go outside right now.
New normal.
Yeah. I think the only thing we did is like seriously think about how to make the house safer if there's no if we stay. We had a funny phone call with a friend yesterday where they were like, are you guys thinking about leaving? And Keith was like, no, we literally can't.
Yeah.
There's no, what is Try Guys going to go to Europe for a year?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Wrap the office up. But like literally the office.
Yeah.
There's a lease.
Yeah.
You got to stay.
Do you think this is going to drive that many people out of LA? I really don't think so.
I think it'll drive people that have the ability to leave out. So like, I think if you are renting and you can do your job remotely, especially if you have kids, because they are kind of saying like the air is going to be bad for like years. But I need someone to come out and like definitively, which there's no way they can tell you this, right?
Yeah.
But I need someone to come out and definitively tell me like, if we go to the park for 30 minutes every other day,
right?
Are we talking lung cancer? Are we talking asthma?
Yeah.
Like what's
it's all about exposure, how much exposure there is. So it's kind of hard to tell because you don't know how much is in the air.
Yeah, it's like how are we measuring
how much was in the air? Yeah,
right,
is around us.
And I just don't think I'm smart enough. Like when they're talking about like the air quality things, I'm like, I just don't understand any of this.
Yeah. Well, you want it to be the AQI on your phone to be like, and that's the answer, and it isn't because it doesn't.
But
measure
for those first few days where we didn't know, like Matt was saying, like there were these horrible fires, and then our AQI was like, it's totally fine outside.
Yeah,
and the skies were blue, and you're like, this seems like wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I felt like a conspiracy theorist. I was like, something's wrong with the AQI, but it was only because I didn't actually understand what AQI was measuring.
Right.
But yeah, I think it would be tough for like, I think it's, my experience is coming from having a kid. So all of my like things are focused on like, what's he going to grow up? Like what kind of environment is he going to be in? So I feel like that's got to be really hard for parents to like,
it's true.
Weigh the pros and cons of staying. Yeah. And we're already in like, and this is for people who their homes were not affected.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, this is completely different conversation for those families that literally left in the night and have nothing now.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for a mortgage.
Yeah,
you still have to pay a mortgage.
Yeah.
If your house burns down.
Yeah. Well, your insurance is supposed to pay you for the house that burned down so you can pay out your mortgage. But there's a lot of issues with insurance and stuff, and they don't always pay you the full value of your home. Like, you know, there's a lot of complications of that, which is broken.
So broken.
You know,
Yeah.
pretty bad.
So broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's also like, what are you going to get paid right now? You know what I mean? Like the people who lost their homes are staying in like Airbnbs and hotels. And, you know, if you don't have family that you can go stay with or anything like that, you're just spending money.
Yeah.
Ugh, left and right.
Left and right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's not really an option to not.
Yeah.
But like I said, our thought process comes from people whose homes weren't affected.
Right.
But now I'm thinking about Henny's quality of life as he grows up.
Mm.
I don't want to be in one of those commercials one day. You know what I'm talking about? Where they're like, did you work in the city of Orland Park from the years 2012 to 2015?
Yeah.
You might be entitled to compensation.
Right.
All right. It is scary. I mean, you never know.
I know. It's also
The thing
scary
is,
to
you
be like,
never
we
know.
never knew what was in the air in the first place.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm
who
like,
knows?
You never know. Could be bad. Could be better. But it's starting to feel more and more like kind of nowhere is completely safe.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like we never thought that the fires would get this bad here. You know, they didn't think they would get flooding like that in Asheville.
Yeah.
You know, it's really showing that no place is completely safe. There's some type of threat.
Yeah.
happening.
Oh, right now,
Natural
Houston's about to
disaster.
get like 3 to 6 inches of snow or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And Houston does not do well
Snowpocalypse.
with snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So it's like, no.
Yeah. During the fires, my older sister's in Atlanta and it was snowing. And she was like, doesn't snow here.
That's
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And we're talking about air quality, but I feel like there were a few days too where it's like it was, I don't know where you guys were, but for me it was like dark gray. Like it was scary. Like I woke up and I was like, is it morning? Like it's, and Devin, shout out finance manager here, is she had an AQI reader in her apartment and it was at 170 inside.
Oh, that's bad.
And 100
That's
is bad.
not good. 100's bad.
Yeah. Crazy. Like it was just like, and I walked into my apartment, I was like, it's smoky inside.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. They said your number one indicator, you'll smell something bad before you see something bad in the air.
oh, okay.
So they said like
Yeah.
that was an indicator of
Yeah.
whether or not you should go outside. But now I'm like, well, it doesn't. Like there were days where it smelled like a barbecue.
Yeah.
Like it smelled like someone had the grill on
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But now it's like, well, it doesn't smell like a grill.
Yeah.
But I'm still
all the
scared.
news.
Yeah.
Right. It's so hard when it's invisible too, when you can't see it and you're like, I don't really know what's going on. Like I'm not a scientist, an air scientist.
Yeah.
It's just like germs. You can't see germs.
Yeah.
You never know if it's there or not there.
A black light, right? Can we
Yeah.
use a black light?
Yeah.
No. Well, when we did have the scary night with the Runyon fire, after we saw that it was almost gone, like that it was well taken care of, we were all super stressed out. So we had a pasta making party. I had like 5 or 6 friends come over because they were afraid they were going to have to leave. So they came over to my house to leave like on the way out. And I was like, we have to do something fun.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's have a pasta making party.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're just going to sit in front of the TV and keep watching. And you kind of start to spin. You know, and it makes you get in a bad kind of mental space.
Mm-hmm.
So we just made a ton of pasta, ate it all, played some games, relaxed. And by the end of that, the fire at Runyon was like out.
Okay, so was the plan
so we
that
didn't have to
they were-
evacuate.
Oh, okay. So they were going to come and then leave if they needed to, but then go back to their apartment if they didn't, or whatever,
Yeah.
or house,
Yeah,
or wherever.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then luckily everyone was able to go home
Mm-hmm.
and stuff by the end of the night, and everyone felt like safe
Yeah.
Yeah.
and everything, you know, the
Yeah.
tension went down.
It was very tense.
Yeah.
Very tense.
Very tense. I feel like it's still tense. I still feel tense.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Still a little tense.
Yeah.
Yeah. When was the gridlock for you? Was it after the Eaton or after the Sunset Fire or before?
After the Sunset
Oh,
Fire.
okay. That's
Yeah.
when it was like, well, we can't even
Mhm.
leave, even if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so scary.
I know my neighbor came out and she's like, I've lived here for 19 years and we've never had a fire this close before.
Yeah.
Woo!
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't
different
like
times.
it. Climate
It's also
change.
crazy because I feel like most people, when they're watching the news
Mhm.
and seeing stuff about wildfires, they don't understand how they're actually like fought. Because I had another fire experience when I was up near Big Bear, and they had a huge fire last year that burned like 20 something thousand acres, and it just went all the way up from like the Highland area all the way up to like Running Springs up in the mountain in the San Bernardino Mountains. And that was the same type of thing. It was like, are we evacuating? Aren't we evacuating? Like the smoke was so bad, like you could see the fire and everything. And they're still monitoring the fire, still, because it burns such a large area and there's still flare-ups. Like you'll see pictures of people posting online of like flare-ups that are happening. So the fire people still have to stay around and monitor it for like months and months. it's like once it's out, it's not done. They keep like monitoring it to make sure that nothing gets swept up again.
Yeah.
It's a lot longer process and like really intense.
Yeah.
Than people think. It's not just throw water on it.
No, I wish that's all it was. They could just toss water on
it's like so complicated.
Something. I mean, really, everything about it is complicated, right? The fire itself is complicated. I think a lot of people in California just recently learned that we use incarcerated people to fight. There's like 30% of the firefighters are incarcerated that are making $5 an hour and have no benefits or anything like that when they get out of, when they get out of prison. What have we learned about containment? Yeah. Which it kept saying 0% contained for the longest time. And we were like, you really don't know what, like, you really don't get what it means. You don't get what that word means.
Right.
Because we don't know those things. Like how firefighting. I watched the Try Guys Try Firefighting video, and you know what? It didn't teach me enough, is what I learned. And my brother was a firefighter, and he didn't teach me enough either.
Oh my gosh, bro.
So I don't know how any of it works. I don't know how any of it works. Yeah.
That 0% was kind of because essentially what containment is it's the perimeter around. So what percentage of the perimeter have they sealed off? But I didn't know that, so I was just like, I keep seeing these helicopters like pour water, and for a while they couldn't pour the water because of the winds, like the helicopters couldn't fly. But then you see like them dumping all this water. And I was like, why is it at 0% still? Like, it's just nothing is moving. But it's because that's not what they're doing.
No. And then
but
the
it is
winds
really complicated. And the
dry.
And the sealant and the filters and the escaping. Like, and fire is just, it's such a scary, I mean, all sorts of, like, hurricanes are scary and tornadoes are scary. But the fire was like, it felt so out of control. Like, and so random. Like, it could just, who knows what it's going to do next.
Yeah.
And it came out of nowhere to me. Maybe other people.
I also feel like it's with every natural disaster, right? When you then come back.
Yeah.
Like, there are people's houses who did not burn down. But what, are you going to be the only house on the street? Yeah. You can't live in your house after that. Like, your house hasn't.
That's what I was like.
Your house hasn't burned down, but there is all that smoke and all of those chemicals that were released from your neighbors' houses are in your house now.
Would also would just be like, so depressing.
So depressing.
Like, you drive to your house every day and you're going through and there's nothing there except for your lone house at the end of the street.
Like, the water.
So heartbreaking.
They're on boil water orders. Some of them are on don't drink the water at all orders.
Yeah.
Would you even have electricity or power? And then also, how does insurance, what are you going to do with insurance? Your house didn't burn down.
Yeah.
But so they're probably going to try and dick you over in some other way.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do?
Another complicated part, insurance. Everything is complicated.
Everything.
Yeah. And it just speaks to like how unprepared I felt. And I feel like the city, I don't know the details, but it felt like just the government was not ready at all. Like, the structures in place. It just felt like so haphazard and like, oh, I don't know. Like, what to do. I don't know.
It's true. I mean, you never realize how bad something works until, it's broken.
Yeah.
That's true.
So maybe this will be, hopefully, this will wake up call for Los Angeles to get their ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Figure things out.
Yeah.
The best way to go, at least so that we don't get evacuation orders. We're not supposed to get evacuation orders.
Yeah. So there's some more clear information coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as of today, there are 40,603 acres have burned. They're just gone. 27 people have died, which is horrible. 15,567 structures were destroyed or burned down. So it's a lot of homes.
Yeah, and businesses.
And then 200,000 people were under evacuation when it was at its peak. So when I had the most evacuation orders. And I mean, 200,000 people is a lot of people. But like LA is like 3.8 million people live in LA.
It's dense.
So those were like two like densely, concentrated areas of all that destruction.
Well, it was also like I was in a red flag zone, not in an evacuation go, but I was still like I left. I ended up leaving because I was just like, I don't want to be like, this is just too scary. And the smoke was scaring me, and like I was just like, I have family a few hours away, so I could leave, which I'm super grateful for. But it goes to say, and I think like a theme of this conversation is like there are people who are like very acutely affected, but the whole city, like, it's hard to not be affected, even if your apartment is fine, even if your house is fine, even if like you're not in an area that it affected as much. And the other thing that was intense is the fires were like in the map, you could see it's like a circle around Los Angeles. So it was like, I know like some people that I was in touch with, it was like okay, you're thinking about, could I just go across the city and stay with a friend? But they're dealing with the Palisades fire instead of the Eaton fire or the Sunset fire. Like everybody was affected by a different fire, which was really intense.
Yeah.
It is. It's crazy. I mean, there is already like such a positive push though already to like rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So people are very optimistic even after everything that's happened. I mean, the fires aren't even completely contained yet.
No.
And people are already like, okay, let's rebuild. Let's get back at it.
Yeah,
Let's
I think
remake
some
LA.
of the evacuation orders are starting to get lifted now so people can go back and like see if their houses are still there and
Right.
see if there's anything they
The
can
belongings
salvage.
and stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of people have been bringing, like we're talking about the donations in. Seeing people do that has been amazing, but that energy does need to last.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like I feel like there's always a really big push for community right at the beginning of something terrible happening.
Right.
And then it kind of fizzles out.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good reminder that like people will always need help for probably a while after this.
Yeah.
And also don't donate your nasty clothes that have holes in them. Those were some of the stories that I hated seeing. I was like, this is not the time to clean out your bag that's been in your car for a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you want to get this? If you lost all of your possessions,
No.
would you want to get this dirty underwear?
Ew.
It's crazy.
Yeah, don't
People
donate
were.
underwear.
People were
Don't donate
donating it.
underwear. That's gross.
No.
No.
You can donate fresh underwear
Yeah.
that's sealed in a bag.
Yeah. Still packaged.
Still packaged.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But I mean, hopefully they'll use it to change the building codes for those areas though too.
There were some like, and this is like a thing about, I don't know why all homes don't have it. Like this one guy was talking about his house and it had like a flame retardant thing that it was spraying out at. He had like control over it. And then the outside of their house was like coated in, I mean, these people had like tons of money, obviously. But their house was coated in something that was like also flame resistant.
Yeah.
And their whole house was fine, but then everyone else around them wasn't. And I was like, well, if you're going to do all those things for your house, like, shouldn't we have like some education somewhere of like
For everyone to do it?
for everyone to do it? Yeah, because I know like if your house was built after a certain or before a certain point, you have to have it retrofitted for earthquakes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because after I think it was the Northridge earthquake is when they realized like, oh, all these houses like fell down and we have to put things on wheels now and all those other things that they do for big buildings.
Yeah.
But
So hopefully it'll change the building code so that, houses won't be as susceptible to getting burned.
yeah, I mean, I think
Make LA safer.
we're all going to be very prepared now.
Yeah.
Or at least have more
People have
understanding
more
what
of
it
a
means to
plan,
be
more
prepared.
prepared.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Eugene and Keith, what were they kind of thinking about doing? Did you guys have different anxieties or was it all kind of just like the same? Like were they worried about a specific piece or were you all just like, we got to feed Henry, we got to make sure we're all inside? I guess he was buying masks, going to the grocery store.
Yeah. Keith was doing the chores. But otherwise,
it was a team effort pretty much.
Yeah.
It was kind of obvious what to be anxious about.
yeah, it was all because we were kind of right in the middle of a couple of them. So it was like a little circle surround. So it was just always watching where the wind was going.
Right.
Because at one point, like the Palisades fire had originally been going the opposite direction from us. But then the winds changed and all of a sudden we were always in a red flag zone too. But then the evacuation order got closer and closer to kind of where
I
we
hated
were.
watching that. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
anxiety. Yeah. Where it's just like, and then here's another one, evacuation, like just adding more and more and you just see it like creep all over the city.
And it was kind of hard to understand too because the Watch Duty app like filtered it so that there were like little, like everything was a little sector and you could kind of see like what sector you were in. And I was noticing with like the Palisades fire, it would be like these two, top and bottom, are under evacuation orders, but the one in the middle wasn't. And I was like, but if you're in that middle, wouldn't you just leave?
Right.
Wouldn't you go when the ones around
Hopefully.
you? Yeah. Hopefully you'd be able to get out by
Hopefully,
then.
like, I should leave too.
But I'm also like, then who's making that call of like these two top things should be evacuated, but not the middle one?
It's probably the fire people, like, what risk,
Yeah,
like how
risk
which way the fire is
assessment.
moving and stuff.
It's got to be so much pressure.
I know. That's a high
To like
pressure.
to be in charge of something like that.
And it's like nonstop. Like the professional firefighters who do that, it's like nonstop. Like they'll travel all over like the US and to Canada and Mexico and stuff to like fight the fire. So like constantly doing it, like every single day.
That's crazy.
That's so intense.
That's
high
so
stress.
intense.
Yeah.
High
Makes me
stress.
stressed just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of places you can donate to, everyone who's listening, if you want to donate anywhere. For the Try Guys office, everybody's doing okay right now, but there are a couple people we've worked with in the past at Try Guys, specifically Kirk. You might have seen her in the some of the Try Moms videos. She was also in a Trolley Problems episode. She's really good friends with Rachel, but she and her family lost their home, so they have a GoFundMe going on.
Aww.
Side pie.
Is that a different GoFundMe?
It's a no. It's the pizza restaurant that they worked with for 24-hour pizza.
Oh wow,
that business is gone.
Oh.
I think they have a GoFundMe going.
Wow.
There are just lots of GoFundMes out there.
Yeah.
And then for a tip that I saw online that I did double check because I was like, is this a lie? Is this true? But it was on FEMA's website. If you or someone you know has a GoFundMe, to be very careful about the language that you're using in your GoFundMe because FEMA will not duplicate funds that you've gotten somewhere else. So like focusing on the language of a transition, like the money will help you transition, not as the money will help you rebuild.
Oh, wow.
Like there were a lot of sort of
Interesting.
sketchier.
A lot of technicalities.
A lot of technicalities.
That's hard because that's like the last thing you want to think about. Like if you just had your house burned down, all this stuff, and you're trying to figure stuff out with your kids and where to stay and how to go and school and food and clothes and all this stuff. And that's the last thing you want to think about is the wording on a website that's supposed to be helping you. You know?
Yeah. One of the days after the fire, I was just sharing anyone's GoFundMe that came on my feed. If there was someone on my feed who had a GoFundMe that they shared for a friend or a coworker or whatever, I was like, here's a reshare.
Multiply. Yeah.
Go.
I found a document that was like,
around.
it had a bunch of GoFundMe specifically for like Black families, and it had like the percentage of so like you could go to like 11% and just like donate to that one specifically.
Oh, that's really, maybe we can link that.
Yeah, we can link that
Under here.
Yeah. The other one that I thought was really cool is I listened to this, one of my favorite podcasts, Vibe Check, shout out. They interviewed one of the firefighters in the fire, and he was in prison, and he started it's called Forestry and Firefighting and Fire Recruitment Program. And it's essentially taking people who are out of prison and training them and giving them the tools and like to get hired as firefighters with their skills. So it was, first of all, very good episode and a good interview, but also you can follow them and donate on FFRP_CA.
Oh, we'll
They're
put
great.
both of those under the description for this
Linked
so you
below.
guys can check it out.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know the incarcerated firefighters didn't get any like certifications.
Yeah.
Like, so they just leave
That's
without.
probably because they're already doing the job.
Yeah.
They're already
Right.
doing the job.
Yeah.
Right.
They just have a leg up
And a lot of them, they won't get hired at because they're,
because of their background.
because they're former convicts. So they don't want to hire them. They're discriminated against too.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's all sad. I think,
Not a good
I think
system.
the world is sad right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just hard. And especially Trump's inauguration is today.
Yeah.
It's hard to feel silly goofy.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
TikTok was almost gone. And now it's back in like a really scary way.
Like really dark.
Like the vibe
Almost
is
worse.
almost worse. Almost worse.
TikTok was gone, but it was actually never gone. You know what I mean?
It was,
It actually
like
wasn't gone.
12
It feels like a
hours.
ploy.
It was yes, definitely a stunt. A stunt thing.
Yeah.
It almost, I don't know.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I
Makes
don't
me
like
not
it.
like
It's
TikTok
ominous.
as much now. Not like Meta as much now. There's a lot of stuff.
I never
you
liked.
love Meta
Did you
before?
love Meta before,
No,
Matt?
but now things are worse.
It's worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now it's like, okay.
Yeah. With like the linking your TikTok, it's like, okay, you're in cahoots. Something happened behind this at
Something's
Mar-a-Lago.
happening here. Something's happening.
Yeah.
Everybody
Cheers.
gets a conspiracy theory they get to believe in, and
That's true.
maybe I think this might be mine. This
true.
might be mine. There's
There have
something
been
happening
wild
here.
conspiracy theories, like so many.
Oh,
About all
yeah.
the fires, about all mismanagement, about
Yeah.
TikTok. Like there's so like it's just rampant right now.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more media literacy classes.
We really need to make sure
Yeah.
you're looking at your sources and don't believe everything you see.
Yeah. But what
Yeah.
about our sources,
Double check.
Matt? Are getting our sources are in cahoots.
Well, I mean, just don't get all your news from TikTok.
No. Now Google has donated money.
Oh,
Did you
really?
see? Yes.
Ugh. Well,
there
everyone's
any-
just trying to get, in the favors of the new administration and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Very political system built on donations.
Corruption and greed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so with our last 5-ish minutes.
You don't want to end it there, Rainie? You don't think that was a
sort of
positive? Let's just take. Should we land the plane instead of driving it straight into the ground?
No, it is an intense day and has been a super intense few weeks. Like that's where I was just like, on the phone with my mom, just being like, yeah, it's been a bad week. Like it's just been like, it's been hard. Like, yeah, but
it's been hard and our houses didn't burn down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that to people not in LA, that you're like, yes, I still have my house and my family. Yeah. But it's still so fucking stressful to be here right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are some things that you've been enjoying? Like it can be like, and this is obviously with the caveat of everything is like tough, but obviously there are pockets of little like, I bought a TV for the first time.
Whoa, Rainie.
Okay. Big purchase.
Okay.
Big purchase.
Well, from Facebook Marketplace, so it wasn't okay. Big, but it has been. I got it yesterday. Changed my life.
Whoa. What are we talking? How many inches?
Before you're just watching like on your computer or on your phone.
On my laptop.
Yeah, that's a different lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. It really. I can't believe the difference that it made. Also, the guy who sold it to me was really hot.
Whoa.
So I was like, okay, this is a win on a win.
Okay, you might as well just give it to me.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. But no, it's I think it's 55 inches. And
that's big, actually. That's pretty big.
Is it big?
That's big.
Yeah.
It feels big. I put it in my car. I was like, this is pretty big. It was the kind that Jack, shout out, suggested I get. And I got it. I searched it on Facebook Marketplace, found it. Great TV.
Got a good deal.
I watched the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders last night.
Whoa.
In 4K.
Okay. Whoa.
It was great.
Whoa, up close and personal.
Up close and personal.
Yeah.
Blown up on your wall.
I literally rearranged my whole room to get my TV in there. What about you guys? What's been funny? What's been good TV, good food?
I mean, thank God for the Traders because...
Oh, you've been watching Traders?
Ooh, what a ride. Let me tell you what Keith and I did. That was very silly. So we got in the Traders, watched the first 3 episodes with my girlfriend Hannah. And then the new episode came out and it was drama. Do you watch?
No, but I
watch?
No, but everyone keeps saying we need to.
Yeah. This last episode.
The one with Bob the drag queen?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying.
Let me tell you, this is a spoiler alert for anyone who is not caught up on the Traders. But if you are a Traders watcher, you haven't watched this episode, stop listening to this podcast and go watch that last episode.
Wait, what's the premise of the show before?
So the premise is like you're playing one of those games where like 1 or 2 people are murderers and everyone else has to figure out who the murderer is, mafia, the other games that are like that. So they all live in this castle-y thing. Mm-hmm. This is the first season that I've watched because I knew who some of the people were. Mm-hmm. So there are 3 traders to start and then a 4th trader gets added in. And the 4th trader is Boston Rob from Survivor. So we, the audience, and the other traders know who the 4 traders are, but everyone else has to try and guess. In this last episode, Bob the drag queen, she came in hot. She was very loud the whole time. She maybe gave a little too much away at times, but in the most dubious way, Boston Rob got Bob the drag queen out.
Oh my God.
Kicked out another traitor on the 4th episode. We didn't even get that far in before he was kicked out. Now, with the silly thing that Keith and I did is we were watching this episode and, our head, we're like, wow, this is crazy. This is so crazy. They're getting to the voting part of who they think a traitor is. We take a mild pause because Caleb, the fitness marshal, was dropping off Pokemon cards for Keith.
Oh, this is real life. I thought this was part of the show.
No, this is real life.
Caleb,
no, this is real life. We had to pause it because Caleb came over to give Keith Pokemon cards.
Love that.
With a little Pokemon drug dealer.
Oh my God.
Keith was like, let me get my cash for you. I was like, what's happening here? What's happening? We go to turn it back on. They're at like 1 or 2 people are left to vote. And then the screen goes black and it says like to shop things from this episode, like go to whatever. So we turn it off. The next day, everyone's talking about how Bob the drag queen's gone. We never saw that because we thought the episode was over. We turned it off.
Turn it off during the ad?
We turned it off before it was done. So the next day, we watched the last 15 minutes that we lost.
And then you figured it out.
And we caught up with the rest of the world. I mean, it was pretty obvious that Bob was going to go, but it was one of the craziest like reality coups that I've seen. in a while, in a coup. And the people, the editors of the show hate Tom Sandoval as much as the rest of the internet and world does. And they're giving him the silliest little edit. He just looks like a little goober the whole time. He's such a ding dong. Yeah. Everything is, he's like 5 minutes behind everyone else on whatever the thing is. But guys, that was crazy. It was really.
So now you're a fan of Traders.
Now I love Traders.
Love
it. Bob the Drag Queen told Dylan Efron, Zac Efron's brother, that his brother was not a good actor.
I didn't know the context, but I was like, why would you? By the way, he's a really good actor.
I do think he's pretty good. I saw 17 again. Yeah, right? That was a good movie.
Oh my God.
But yeah, Bob was basically like, my thing with Bob is that she was on Drag Race and she was acting like she was on Drag Race. Like when people would come for her, she would just like read them to filth. And like Dylan was on a reality TV show with his brother where they explored climate change and and water bottles. Like they were on two different, and other people were on Survivor. So some people are coming from these highly strategic places, and I think Bob was coming from a performance place where if you're the loudest and the funniest, you're getting a good edit, you're getting more time.
That's kind of fascinating, though. It's kind of like that Hannah Montana and Wizards of Waverly Place. Like everything is merging, but it's like different mediums of like, they're all reality, but they're the strategy is totally different.
The strategy
like the reality
is
star games.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon games, exactly.
Yeah.
Worlds colliding.
So it's definitely interesting, but I thought Bob was going to make it longer. But that's when she yelled at Dylan. And he was like, I grew up with an actor, and he goes, not a good one. And then one of the Real Housewives afterwards was like, that was not nice what he said about your brother. Your brother's a very good actor.
Oh my God. Was he upset though?
He was just was Dylan upset? No. He was kind of just like, pff. Like it was kind of a low. I thought it was a little low for Bob.
I
was like, Bob, you have better stuff than this. You have better material.
Yeah.
Call Zac Efron a bad.
Come on.
But you know what? It's memed now. You know?
You made it.
He's going to be a wanted drag queen again, Up.
Yeah.
Get his name back out there. More people want to book him and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a win-win.
Do you think Bob the drag queen went out?
No. But like
was on the downward spiral. You heard it here from Matt.
Wow, Becky.
You're coming for Bob the drag queen.
Wow, Becky. No, it's just the more that you're in those, the more that you're in pop culture and in memes and stuff, the more you're on people's minds, and the more you get booked, and the more, the more people want you.
Yeah.
So even though he's getting kicked off, he's still winning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Always
winning.
Stay winning.
Yeah.
And speaking of drag queens, Drag Race is back.
Yes. Love Drag Race. RuPaul's Drag Race season 17. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. 17
seasons. Can you name every single drag queen in the last 17 years?
And how many whatchamacallits does Ru have for Emmys? Yeah.
I think like 16 because he lost one.
Yeah, I want to say he won all of them.
So many.
Yeah.
He won so
we were telling a friend to watch it, and they were like, is it really that good? And Keith's like, it has so many Emmys. Of course it is. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, hello.
Drag Race has been fun. This season is very different because a lot of the drag queens are younger.
Oh,
because usually there's like a mix.
Yeah.
Usually there's like a mix of like older queens and like younger queens who are more like starting out. But now a lot of them are younger queens who have their shit together.
Yeah, they really do.
Wow.
So they're like already talented. They already know how to sew. They know how to do all this stuff, but they're still young. So their mentality is a little more young.
Yeah.
But it also is like more petty. Which is good for, reality TV.
Do you think that's why they
drama.
did it? Because I'm kind of surprised. That's an interesting move to
I think because like the last season was good because it had good personalities. So people could come in like really strong.
Yeah.
But then not, things fizzled a little bit throughout this season where it wasn't as like, people weren't as into everything. So now I think making this drama and making things like petty and like more like fighting and tiffs and stuff with people.
Yeah.
It'll draw people back in more. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite right now?
There's not like one drag queen I'm attached to. Yeah, there's a couple.
You like Auntie Grandma.
That I like.
The 33-year-old Auntie Grandma. Did you hear when they called Lexi Love that?
Lexi Love.
She's 33 years old. And like
That's funny.
Auntie Grandma on the roller skates.
Auntie,
And I was
they
like,
did call her Auntie Grandma. I actually do like Lexi Love.
I do like her too.
Yeah, she's from Kentucky. And is like a little more kooky, like out there type of style, but very fun, very talented. But there's a couple, that are really already shining.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you see like, okay, I could see who the top couple, maybe 6 are going to be, but usually you can be like, okay, these are going to be the top 3. But from the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
And this one, it's like, okay, like any of these 6, 7 people would be in the top.
Yeah.
So it's like harder. So that makes it more fun too.
Yeah.
Because then you really want to see who's going to get there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you can guess, and now I can't guess.
Yeah, I feel like the last
Right?
couple seasons has been pretty
You can be
obvious.
yes,
you were
that,
like,
her. They're all
we're
going to be in
have,
the top.
yeah, top
last
3
episode.
easy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was always that same
Yeah.
person. But this one, you're right. It could
This
be
one, it's like, it could be any of them.
between a couple. And then
Yeah.
I thought, well, from the first episode, I was like, I know exactly who's going home first.
Yeah.
And then when that didn't happen, when
Yeah.
they introduced the
Badonkadonk.
Badonkadonk, Dunka Queen,
Yeah, Dunka Queen.
that
Wait,
was
what is
crazy.
So it's
That's so, like,
basically,
that's so
if anyone had been watching the Golden
Yeah.
Chocolate Bar,
Oh,
that
yeah.
they had at different seasons where it's like they would give anyone who was being eliminated a chocolate bar, and if it was like the golden wrapper in it, like Willy Wonka, then it was like their saving grace to stay. So this is the same concept, but it's sponsored by Las Vegas. So they did a Dunka Queen. So Michelle Visage sits up in the dunk tank, and then they have like 10 levers they pull, and I think like 2 of the 10
Yeah, 2 of them.
are like saves. So if you pull the right lever, then you get saved and you get to stay in. But if you don't pull the right lever, you're still eliminated.
And you get dunked? Oh, no, and Michelle
And
gets
Michelle
dunked.
would get- yeah.
She gets dunked if you choose the right lever.
Yeah.
And I think whether you win or not, you always get a trip to Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That
So you're
was
still winning.
because the one queen who, okay, so if you haven't watched the newest episode, stop listening right now. The latest queen who got to pull the lever the first time, Hormone Lisa, picked one of the correct levers.
Yes.
So she was first eliminated, was saved, and now gets a trip to Vegas on top of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the queen that had like, won the lip sync challenge against Hormona Lisa was like, I won the challenge.
Yeah.
And then she still gets to stay and she gets a trip to Vegas.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like a win to me.
It was a really kooky, it's a
Yes.
kooky ending. And Rita Queen is back, which is
Yes.
always sass.
Yes.
Very crazy because eventually they see who voted for who.
Yeah.
And some people do play favorites
Yes.
based on personality and not based on overall talent or how they did in the competition that week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Vote for your friends. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of very strong sewers and like creative
Yes.
minds on this season.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like by now it's 17 seasons in. Like you need to know how to do certain things.
Yeah.
And sewing is one of them. Every single season, there's multiple sewing challenges. You need
Yeah.
to know how to sew. You're not the best. You just have to know how to do it.
Yeah. It's wild because it's been going on for 17 years and the contestants are young. They probably grew up with it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
maybe why they're so good. Is that they're like, I know exactly. I know I need to sew. I know
Right.
this is what I'm going
Yeah.
to play to.
It
which
was
is
it
cool.
Georges who was like, I've been watching RuPaul's Drag Race since I was like 10
Yeah.
or 8 or something.
Yeah.
And RuPaul was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what?
Drag Race keeps us young,
Drag Race and
It
traitors,
does.
you know? Just watch reality TV
Yes.
and everything will be
A
okay.
spark of joy.
Yeah.
Spark of joy.
You got to find the little things sometimes
Exactly.
when other things
Exactly.
are hard. Oh, and happy Onyx Storm Day tomorrow to everyone.
What is this?
The Fourth Wing Iron Flame.
Oh my
The
god.
I was
trilogy,
like,
the
what are
third
you talking
book. Something else we can be excited about. And some people found it early at Walmart.
Wow.
I know.
Early
I
distribution.
did go, when I was at Target, I did just swing by the
Yeah.
section to see if anybody had put it out early by accident, but they had not. But happy Dragon fucking Day to all who celebrate.
Wow. All the dragonflies.
All the dragonflies.
dragonflies.
That's a cute name for them. Well, guys, that's the end of the episode for today. Hopefully we can be in a little sillier, goofier of a mood coming in the coming weeks. But it's been hard. And we know it's been hard for you guys too. If anyone who's listening has been affected, we're sorry. And we hope for the best for everyone involved. Keep reaching out to donate. Keep looking for the helpers, as Mr. Rogers said. Be the helper. Make sure you wash your hands, pee after sex. And until next time, bye.
Bye.